All right, we have got a fantastic video for you today, ladies and gentlemen. And this is one that I'd like for you to share out, if at all possible, not for my own self, not for any sort of clout or to gain numbers, but because this is coming from a very sincere place. The daughter of Nick Stewart, her name is Valerie Stewart. She is attempting to protect and save the legacy of her father. And her father is an African American pioneer in acting, in voice acting, in theater. And over the decades, his memory, his legacy is being wiped out by people who wish to censor the past. And there are a lot of people out there on social media who have strong opinions about Splash Mountain and about Song of the South and about what Disney should do with those properties. I would really like you to share this with them because there needs to be a moment where we all take a step back with sobriety, with a sound mind, and remember that when we strike Splash Mountain from the theme parks, when we prevent people from watching Song of the South, that there is a cost involved. And if you watch this video, you're going to see the cost. I don't anticipate that many people will change their minds online because that has a cost associated with it. The people who agree with you will suddenly disagree with you, and that's painful. But I think that if you watch this video all the way through, you're going to wind up at least feeling a little bit differently, hearing what it is that we're about to lose. And it's not just a theme park ride, and it's not just a movie. It is the history of African American peoples working to overcome prejudice and racism and oppression inside the film industry. And oddly enough, those are the people that we are now erasing from our minds, from our collective minds on what's going on here. Let's take a look at this article. This was sent to me by Valerie Stewart. She is the daughter of Nick Stewart, who played bre'r and whose voice can still be heard to this day at Disneyland theme park. But in just a little over a month, that will no longer be the case. Nick Stewart's voice will go silent in Disneyland. A true hero in American history, in film history, will go silent. And so we're going to read this interview from him or by him. This is out of, I'm sorry, I'm not sure exactly which publication this was, but it's a Disneyland News interview when Splash Mountain was opening. Here we go. A veteran of 58 years in show business, Stewart has performed on the Broadway stage, worked with Rudy Villay and Eddie Cantor during radio's heyday, and in the early days of television was a featured player on the Amos and Andy series. Stewart is also the founder and managing director of the Ebony Showcase Theater in Los Angeles. For 38 years, the Ebony has served as both an entertainment venue and professional training workshop for the inner city. The theater is as important to the community as a church, college, or newspaper, says Stewart. We try to give talented young people their chance to succeed. How did you get started in show business? And now I know the source. This is Disneyland News. I was a dance man, a tap dancer, and then I learned to be a stand-up comic. This was in New York at the Apollo Theater and the Cotton Club. What was it like to be in the vaudeville back then in the 20s and 30s? Oh my, it was great. I worked with Louis Armstrong and Cab Calloway, with all of them. One time we took our show to a hospital and I did my comedy. I didn't get a single laugh, not even a smile. Later, they told me it was a clinic for the deaf. How did you get into motion pictures? I came to California in 1936 to do a show with Cab Calloway and Ella Fitzgerald. One night, Mae West was in the audience. A few weeks later, I got a call from William Morris Talent Agency. They wanted me to go for a role in Mae West's movie, Go West, Young Man. How did you happen to audition for Song of the South? They called the pros. Johnny Lee, he played the rabbit, and James Baskett, who played Uncle Remus. We were all from vaudeville, graduates of the Apollo and the Cotton Club. How many characters did you audition for? All I tried was bre'r, and they liked what I brought to it. They showed me his picture and said he was a bumbling character, mumbling, bumbling. So I brought inspiration to it. And then he did the voice of bre'r to show them. Had you ever heard the bre'r and Brer Rabbit stories before doing the movie? Oh, yes. We were read the Uncle Remus tales as children. They were teaching tales, like Aesop's fables. Remus was a teacher, a philosopher. One day he will take his rightful place. Pause there for a moment and think how far we are from that. And think how odd it is that children of all races, but children who were African American children, were listening to those stories. Disneyland News continues, how so? Sometimes kindness is mistaken for weakness. That's him addressing the same things we deal with today. People don't always look for wisdom and intelligence to solve problems. If you're trying to solve problems with a gun, well, you can't with a gun. You can't always do it with money. You have to do it with teaching. Uncle Remus showed how the rabbit got out of trouble using his brains, how little animals were able to survive. Note here that the tales of the bre'r animals, that comes from African folklore, authentic African folklore. Yes, it's Disney-fied in the Song of the South movie, but the whole idea is that the rabbit, bre'r rabbit, represents a young African-American man who outsmarts his oppressors. How did you get asked to recreate the role of Brer Bear for Splash Mountain? The good Lord works in mysterious ways. Do you understand? So many wonderful things have come out of things I made no plans for, and they come in times of need. It was good. It was refreshing to do it. Actually, it was good for me. Were you surprised to get the call from Disney? Oh, yes. It came from out of the blue. That's how angels appear. And the guys at Disney were so pleased to see me. They say I'm part of the Disney family, like long-lost kin. Was it difficult to get back into the Bre'r Bear role after a 42-year hiatus? Talking about Splash Mountain. No, not at all. It's part of being an artist. You have a feel for the character. I saw him walking. I saw him talking. I saw him shrugging. I saw him in doubt. I saw him when he was confused. I knew what he thought, and I knew when he was hurt. And when he'd get an idea, he got a real dumb laugh. A dumb, bumbling bear. He was always just a little dumber than the rest of them. That's Nick Stewart. That is the voice that we will lose, an African-American icon, someone worth listening to, worth remembering, but that is who we will lose when it is time for Splash Mountain to go. As far as I know, his voice does not exist in the Tokyo version, which will continue to be. But it's worth noting that as we go on, whatever this is, whatever this movement we are in, where we are eradicating the past based on our degree of offense we take from it now, whatever that is, there's going to be a cost associated. And in this case, it is the legendary Nick Stewart, a man who pioneered African-American theater and film and voice acting, a true legend. And not only is it he that is being erased, but it's his family's legacy, something they are so proud of. And for that, I am thankful that his daughter, Valerie Stewart, continues to pursue remembering her father in the way that he deserves as a true hero, a pioneer in the industry. I hope we'll all remember that, whatever side you're on when it comes to Splash Mountain. Thank you, and we will see you next time.